We do every Wednesday at noon Central Standard Time. Now, scalability is software for website builder pipelines, text, call, all sorts of stuff all in one place. So you have one login, one password, one easy place to do all of your things. And we use the software to automate things, streamline things, so we can have more time to do what God intended us to do. My name is Aaron, and I believe that God created for 6 days, and then he put everything on automation so he could spend the rest of eternity in relationship with us. And now I look at that and I say, sounds like a good model to try to apply to our own lives, our own businesses. And so I focus on how do we do that in our lives and businesses. And then I teach kingdom-minded entrepreneurs how to do that in their businesses. That way you can spend your time in relationship with God and making disciples that can make disciples instead of running around doing menial business tasks that could be automated or streamlined with software and the tools that are out there in the world today. So we use scalability for everything, of course. And today I want to show you the day-to-day. How do we manage leads? How do you track the follow-up, the tasks, the where people are at in your process? Okay, so today I'm actually going to do a live build, and we're going to build a pipeline, and I will explain the pipelines, what it means, and then I'll actually walk you through an exercise of how you can create a pipeline in your own business for whatever business you have. So I'm going to do what I call a then what exercise, which gives us the framework to build your pipeline. And then we are going to go into scalability and actually build that pipeline. But first, what is a pipeline? So I'm actually going to share my screen here, and I am going to show you what a pipeline looks like. Okay, so this is a demo account inside of Scalability, and this is a pipeline that we have put together as a demo for real estate investors. Okay, so just for an example, on our live build today, I'm going to show you a pipeline that is for real estate. So across the top here, where it says new leads being analyzed, seller contacted, send contract, contract sent, then we can scroll over and there's contract signed, create property packet. That is a pipeline, right? Think of it as lists stacked next to each other. And each list is a step of your process that people are going to walk through. So when we say a sales pipeline, it is literally a collection of lists, which is your customer journey from start to finish. So if I look at this from another angle, this is the customer journey as they come into my business as a real estate investor. So I'm a real estate investor. I want to buy their house at a discount, mark it up, sell it to somebody else. This is my pipeline. The lists right here is the customer journey. So a new lead is going to come to me and say, hey, Aaron, I'm kind of interested in selling my house. I'd like to get your offer and see what you have to say about my property. That person would get created as an opportunity right here in this pipeline. So this card right here represents that seller, that lead, okay? Once I contact them and I start going back and forth and I make an offer, I simply are going to grab this card, slide it over here to where it says seller contacted, and I'm in negotiation. Once this person says, you know what, Aaron, I like it. Go ahead and send me the contract and let's do this thing. I'm going to slide them over to send contract. And then once I've sent the contract, I slide it over to contract sent. Once they sign it, I slide it over here. And you see what happens is I can pipeline and I can see that I have people waiting right here. These are sellers that I've contacted, I'm in negotiation with. Boom, 1, 2. Send contract. That means 1, 2, 3. These people right here, I need to send a contract out to them. Contract sent. I sent it to this person. I'm waiting for him to sign. This item, this column right here, there's 3 people here that shows that the contract has been signed and we need to start the title work with the title company. So this is what I mean when I say customer journey. They come in as a new lead, right here, and then I contact them. We send them a contract. The contract is sent. Then it's signed. Then we're marketing the property out to our buyers. So this is the customer journey. Your pipeline and your lists are always going to be your customer journey. So no matter what your business is, a pipeline is literally then what? Like, what is next? What's the next step that your customers are going to go through? And those are the steps that we use to create your pipeline. So I am going to switch over to share my screen here on a basic Google document. And I'm going to show you guys an exercise you can use to start creating your own then what exercise in your business and creating your pipeline off of that. Okay, so we're going to jump over here to Google Doc. Basic Google Doc, a note on your phone, doesn't really matter what you want to use. It can be a note on your phone, it can be a pen and paper right next to your desk, it can be a Google Doc. Doesn't matter how you do it. The point is, we're simply going to say, then what on our to create our customer journey, right? So let's say I'm going to run Facebook ads. I'm just going to type it in, Facebook ads, and we'll call it YouTube ads. Okay. So I'm going to run Facebook ads and YouTube ads, or let's even just say it's organic. I'm going to do organic posts on Facebook and YouTube. That's like the first step that I'm going to do in my business to attract leads to me. So if somebody sees my ad or they see my post, then what? What do I want them to do? Well, I want them to click on my link and go to my website. So I'm just going to say then go to website. Well, then what? What happens when they're on the website? I want them to submit their, let's say, name and email for an offer. Then what? Well, when they submit their name and offer, when they submit their name and email and click, I want an offer, then what happens? Well, then I want them to I want their name to go on my pipeline as a new lead so that I can track them. Okay. Add to new lead stage in pipeline. Well, then what? So they submit their name, they submit their email, and they say, I want a cash offer on my house, and we're going to add them to the pipeline. But then what? We want them to get a text. We want them to get an email. Should that trigger us to follow up with them that we got a new lead? Yes, all of the above. So we want it to send the lead a text. Send the lead an email. Trigger me to follow up with new lead. Okay, perfect. So these turn into automations, right? So when they submit their information here, this one, this one, this one, this one, these all become automations in the process. I wanted to do this live with you so that you can see what this really looks like and the realistic process of making this happen, right? So there's going to be a customer journey that we're mapping out here with this basic then what exercise, okay? And so when we do this basic then what exercise, it's going to not only give us the customer journey of how they're going to enter our world and then how they're going to move through our process, but it's also going to lay out the steps for automation that we can build on the backside. And I'll show you that here in just a second as we go. I want to get just a few steps in here so that you can see what this looks like. So we're going to run Facebook ads, YouTube ads, or do organic posts. When they see those ads, they're going to click the link, go to my website. On my website, they're going to give me their name, email, and say, I want an offer, or give me the free download, or whatever it is that you're offering. And then as soon as they do that, I want it to add them as a lead in the pipeline. So they show up as that opportunity card that I showed you, and I'll show you again in a minute. And I want scalability to send them a text, send them an email, and send me a text message that says, hey, you've got a new lead. So that way the system is following up with them immediately within a few minutes saying, hey, we see you. We received your information. One of our team will be reaching out to you. Okay. So then what? They get a confirmation. We get a trigger to follow up with them. Then what? We're going to follow up with the lead. Okay. So now I'm following up with the lead and I'm contacting them. I'm going back and forth. We're talking about their property. We're talking about our service, whatever it is. This could be a demo call where you actually reach out to them and you schedule a demo call. But whatever happens here, you're touching base with them and you're following up with them, right? So we're using real estate as an example on this one. And so I'm going to say, hey, would you be interested in an offer on your house? And they're going to say yes. And so then we go back and forth and I give them my offer and we talk back and forth. They say, yes, it works. No, it doesn't, blah, blah, blah. If they say, yes, it works, then what? Well, I'm going to send the contract, right? This is what I showed you in that pipeline. And then once I send them the contract, then what? I need to wait for their signature. Okay. And then what happens when they sign it and get it back to me? We're going to send it to the title company to start title work. Okay, you see how this is slowly coming together as the next step of the process. So let me space these out so you can see what these look like. Each one of these headlines, we'll say, is a list for a pipeline. And then each one of these indentions here would be the automation that could happen in that stage of the pipeline. So if we say Facebook ads is where a customer is first going to interact with us, or YouTube ads or organic content, they're going to click a link, come to our website. This is the customer journey. This is the path the customer takes through your business dealing with you. So Facebook ads, YouTube ads, Google, organic, podcast, doesn't matter. This is where people first find you. Where do you want them to go? Website. Then what? Submit their name and an email for an offer. Then what? I'm going to follow up with them until they're ready for a contract. They say, yes, I'll take the offer. Then what? I send them the contract. Then what? I wait for their signature. I would say, follow up. Then what? Once we get the signed document, we're going to send it to the title company. So you see how this quick, basic, then what exercise walks us through the stages of developing your customer journey. I'll show you another business here in just a second. But looking at this, you have a basic Google Doc or a note on your phone or a piece of paper and a pen next to your desk, and you're building out a then what. Now we're going to take this list right here, and this is where we turn it into the actual pipeline. Okay? This pipeline I showed you guys originally. Now you see right here, we've got new leads being analyzed. So when somebody fills out the form on the website, we said we want it to add a card to our pipeline. That's this, right? It creates this card and it adds that card right there as a new lead. Then what? I follow up with them, right? That's this. Seller contacted in negotiation. We talk back and forth. They say, yes, I like the number, Aaron. Send me the contract. And we have send contract. So now you can see how this goes from a Google document, then what, then what, then what, then what. And you take the then what's and you plug them into the stages of the pipeline here. Create the lists, right? So I'm going to show you now how to create this pipeline. If we go, let me see if this will share my whole screen. Okay, here we go. Now I can switch between screens for you. Okay, so if we've got our then what exercise like this, right? Facebook ads, go to website, submit their name, follow up, send contract, wait for signature, whatever. You guys do your then what exercise, you get your list. Now, how do we turn that into this? That's the question. This is where a lot of people get lost. So let's simplify this down. When you log into your scalability account, over here on the left, you'll see pipelines. Up at the top, you'll see opportunities and pipelines. If I click pipelines right here at the top, this allows me to create a new pipeline. So here I would create a new, and then this, I can name it, and let's say REI demo. And so now I'm simply going to go over to my then what exercise, and I'm going to say submit their name and email for an offer. That's going to add them to the pipeline. So that would be stage one. I would say this is new leads. And while you're trying to learn this and trying to figure out how things go together, you can literally say new leads from website if you wanted to. Okay. And then we're going to add a new stage. And so here, this is where I say, okay, I've contacted them. Contacted, follow up to close. Okay. If I go back to my then what, I'm going to follow up with the lead, right? And then send the contract. So then I can come and say add new stage, send contract. Then what? We've got wait for their signature and follow up. So here I can say follow up for signatures. Now see, when you start breaking this down and you have these bigger categories, right? Send the contract, follow up for signatures. We could say contract signed, start title. Okay, we have big pieces. Now you see, when we showed this before, I had contract, send contract and contract sent. I like to have little pieces in between that help me understand where I'm at with the person. So if I know I'm going to follow up with the lead and then I'm going to send them the contract, and then I go to put that into a pipeline and I'm moving this person across, I want to visually see that once I send the contract, the person is in that category, right? They're in that list, send contract, and their card is underneath it. If I've got a bunch of names in there, how do I know if I've sent them the contract or if I need to send the contract? So that's why I like to have send contract, and then I like to add a stage that says sent contract. And here I might combine this to say follow up for signatures, right? So sent contract, follow up. And now I'm going to toggle this one up here and where I want it in the process. So I can toggle these arrows up to where it's send contract and then sent contract follow up. And then here we've got follow up for signatures. Well, I decided to combine that with this. So I'll just come over here to the right, click the trash can, and delete that stage. So now this list, as it goes from top to bottom, when we create this as a pipeline, it's going to take the top step and it's going to be the list all the way to the left. The second one down will be the list right next to it. It basically takes this list from top to bottom and cascades it from left to right and creates the pipeline. So I'm going to keep it simple to this right here. I'm going to hit save, and then we'll refresh the screen and you'll see what this looks like. Where did we go? Hold on just a second. For some reason, it went back to the original, or back to my agency. So hold on just a second to get this reopened. If you guys have questions or comments, put them in the chat. Let me make sure we don't have any chat here I'm missing. If you're watching live on YouTube, put your comments and questions in the comments below the video as well, because we will actually get to those for you, and we'll make sure that we have all of those taken care of, and we're answering you in the comments and everything else. All right, what is going on here? Hold on a second. Technology is awesome till it isn't. Hold on just a second. We'll get switched to the right account here again and get right back in there where we were. Is this making sense to everybody? Like in your business, can you see that then what exercise helping you start to lay out your pipeline, lay out your customer journey? You guys kind of understanding how this will come together? If we go ahead and jump back here. Okay, here we go. We're back in. We get back in here to the pipelines, right? We just created our pipeline. We refreshed it. We click pipelines on the left, pipelines at the top, and now you can see the REI demo pipeline. Now, if we click on opportunities, it's going to show the two pipelines right here in the drop down. So this is the original one that I had showed you that already has all these cards on it. And we can toggle now between multiple pipelines. You can have as many pipelines as you want, and it will they will all show up right here in the drop down. So if I click REI demo, it's just going to switch over to the one that we just created. So this is the one where we just created that list from top to bottom. New leads from the website, contacted, send contract, contract sent, contract signed, start title. So it took that list and it cascaded it from left to right to create the pipeline. Now, when it comes to actually managing leads in here, all you're going to do is you can manually add people or you can build an automation. So when I did the then what exercise, we put in there that we wanted to, somebody put in their name, email on the website, and they say, give me a cash offer. And it's going to automatically send them a text and an email and everything else, right? So inside your scalability, you would simply go to your automations and you would create a new automation, a new workflow, and you would make the trigger is somebody fills out that form on that website. And then the first action that happens is it creates an opportunity and adds them directly to this pipeline, and they show up right here in the new leads. That is using the automation. We've talked automation workflows in other videos, so I'm not going to go into that right now. Right now, I want you to focus on the pipeline. So you can do that as one way to take leads and have them automatically dumped into any stage of the pipeline you want. With the automation, you can make them drop in as a new lead or as anything you want in the process. So if we want to manually create a lead here, we would come to the pipeline and then click opportunity in the top right corner. And here you can click on the contact name, and any of the contacts in your account are going to show up. And you can click on one, it'll fill in the information, and then it will give you the opportunity name is the one that will show up on the card. You can say what pipeline you want it in, what stage you want them on, potential value. So if you know every one of your customers is $2,500, you could put opportunity value of $2,500. You can give it an open status or a lost or a one. Let's say the first time you add somebody to your pipeline, you've already got them closed, like they've already bought, and you're just like, oh, we should add them to the pipeline so my team can help from now on. You can literally come in here and just immediately mark them as one. Most likely they're going to come in as open. If you have big teams, multiple people, you can actually assign them to someone or to yourself. And then opportunity source, you can put where did they come from? So if I'm manually adding them, maybe this is somebody I met at a networking event. Maybe it's somebody that I met at church. Maybe it's somebody I met at the playground, whatever. Maybe it's a referral from somebody else. We want to put the referral source, referral from Jake. That way we know that if this person closes and we make $2,500, we can at least shoot a message to Jake or kick him some money and be like, hey man, thanks for the referral. As soon as we create this, it's going to give us the opportunity over here now to add tasks and notes to this person so that we can manage this person from inside their card. And then if I click the X in the top right corner to close this, they automatically show up right here as a new lead on this in this first stage. And this is what it looks like. If I click in the white space right here, it's going to bring that up, and I can click notes, and I can add notes right here to their card, anything I want. And when I click add a note, it's going to timestamp it and say that it was added by Aaron Jennings on this date and time. This allows you to manage your leads and every interaction you have with them, or your team can. So if you have a team, you want them to actually contact the lead and add notes to the card and then set the next task for the follow-up. And I'll show you that in just a second. But here, we've created our then what exercise, turned it into a pipeline. It puts the pipeline headers there. And now we know how to add an opportunity to the pipeline. Now we're going to work this lead right here from the pipeline. Okay. So here, once you start adding leads to your pipeline, it starts to look like this. And we can quickly open this pipeline up and see I've got 2 properties where the seller's been contacted, we're in negotiation. I've got one where it's a new lead and I need to get a hold of them. I've got two that I need to send the contract on. I've got one that I sent the contract, and I've got three here that the contract has been signed and we need to start the title work. I can look at this and I can go, that's where my people are in my customer journey, in my process. And now I can prioritize how I'm going to go about managing and working these people. And what I mean by that is, if you have a full-time job and you're trying to run your business, you got 15 minutes in between kids and laundry or going back to work or a lunch break or whatever. You're going to jump in here. And if I jump in here and look at this pipeline and I see this is where my people are, I've got two people right here that said send the contract, and it doesn't look like the contract's been sent. This right here would be my priority. I got 15 minutes. I'm going to write this contract, send it. I'm going to drag them over there. I'm going to write this contract, send it. I'm going to drag them over there. Now I go back to work because I only had 15 minutes and I got those two done. Boom, done. Priority here. Now you see on each one of these how there's a value, 5,600, 4,500, and at the top of the list, it's adding that up. So see, when I had these two over here, well, let me bring that back. When I had these two, here I've got two that need to have the contract sent out, and I can see right there, there's potentially $15,000 profit. So if I know I've got potentially $15,000 profit, and these two people said yes, and they're waiting on the contract, this is my priority, okay? A pipeline lets you see where the value is in your customers, so you know where to focus. If I got 15 minutes, where do I focus? Those two contracts. That's priority. Because that's potentially $15,000 worth of profit if they get those contracts, get them signed. Now, this is a real estate example, but the same thing works for everything. Okay, creating a pipeline, a then what exercise. So let's say you do demos, demonstrations of your product, or you set up Zoom meetings with people, right? You send out DMs, direct messages to people, or cold emails, cold text, something like that. Your first stage could be new leads that you're sending messages to. When somebody responds, that could be your second process. There could be new leads that are cold, and then contacted leads follow up. So you know if somebody responds to your cold messages, you slide them over to the second column. And then what? We want to get them booked onto a Zoom call. So the third stage of your process, the third list on your pipeline, right, like here, could be schedule a Zoom meeting or Zoom scheduled, right? So they go from being a new lead to being a contacted lead or an interacting lead. And then they go to Zoom contacted or Zoom scheduled. And then it's a Zoom no-show or they did show up and what's next, right? This can be anything in your process. Your pipeline is simply what's the process you're moving people through from start to finish. Does this make sense? If you're watching live on YouTube, put it in the comments. If you're live with us backstage, let me know if this makes sense or if you have any questions, because I don't want you to get hung up on the semantics back and forth. Simplify it way down. And as you start working the process, you're going to see that, oh, I should add an extra step. I didn't used to have this contract sent right in here, okay? This was something from learning it. We had a send contract and then we had a contract signed. And so we would drag people over to here and we would send the contract, but then they would wait here until we had the contract signed. So then every day we'd look at our pipeline and we'd see people in the send contract and be like, oh man, we need to get these contracts out. And we'd open them up, click on the notes, and it would say contract sent on this date. And we're like, oh, the contract's already been sent. So it was causing us to think we needed to spend time here, and we didn't. So we added a stage, contract sent. So now we know if they're over here, contract's been sent already, and we're waiting on them to sign it. If they're here, it still needs to be sent. This comes from working the actual process every day on your pipeline. Once you get your pipeline set up, you get your then what exercise. Turn your then what exercise into your pipeline. At that point, Every day you work on your business, it's open up your pipeline and see where your people are, and then follow your tasks on what to do. Okay? And this is how you actually work your leads from day to day so that you always know at a quick glance where people are at in your process and where you need to focus your time. Super, super valuable, because if you're going to close deals and make more money, you have to know where your focus time is. If in this particular process right here, contract, sign, start, title, once we start the title work, we're literally along for the ride. You're just waiting. It's going to be weeks with the title company before they can close the deal. So once I've started the title, if I only have 15 minutes to work on some projects or to work on some leads in between my W-2 job or my family or whatever I have going on, then I'm not going to follow up with the title company, because I've probably got 2 to 4 weeks before the title company will be ready to go. So if I know the title company takes more time, then I might drop some messages to these people where the contract is sent and say, hey, just touch and base to make sure you got the contract we sent. Do you have any questions? Because this would be the fastest way to money. Once they sign it, then they're off to the title. The title's going to take a week or two, right? So it really helps you see, boom, focus here, boom, focus here. Okay? And now I'll show you how we can set tasks for actually working these leads, okay? But I wanted to make sure we didn't have any questions here before we move on. I see Hayden just joined, not sure what this is, but interested in real estate, like Trello. Yes, this is like Trello, but we can add automation. So the software is actually scalability. It's fastscalability.com. The link will probably be on the channel here somewhere where you can find that. But we teach you how to basically take it and create automation and systems and streamline your business and work the thing from day to day so that you're not just buying software and never figuring out how to use it. That's what this is. We're doing live builds for it. Can I be sent a reminder? Yes, the reminders are in the automations. So I like to take and build my then what exercise, turn it into a pipeline, then start adding leads and stuff to it. But what we can do here as you guys progress and grow, right? You start adding automation to each one of these stages of the pipeline. So for an example, when somebody gets added as a new lead right here, that can be the trigger. So an opportunity is created and added to the new lead stage of this pipeline, and that triggers an automation to happen where it sends me a text message and says, hey, you got a new lead, follow up with them. It also triggers a text and an email to go out to the lead. Hey, we received your information. We'll be following up soon. I like over here on contract sent, when it comes to send contract, this automation would look like somebody moved into this stage of the pipeline, and it's automatically going to text me and say, hey, send the contract for this. And then it's going to create a task for me every day to remind me, send the contract, send the contract, send the contract. And the automation would do that. Then when I move them over here to contract sent, I create an automation for that stage of the pipeline where when I move somebody over there, it automatically sends the client a text and an email that just simply says, hey, Aaron, I just sent you the contract that you asked for. Make sure to check your spam junk folders if you don't see it right away. Okay? So automation can be built into every stage of the pipeline, but make sure you're ready for it and you understand your automation. Because just like on this demo, I'm sliding people around because this is a demo account. If I have automation built on every one of these stages and I do a demo like this, or I slide them over and I go, oops, I didn't mean to put them there. I need to slide them back. I trigger the automation every time I slide them. So if I slide them over to contract sent on accident and drop it, it's going to send them a text and email that says, hey, I just sent you the contract. And then you're going to slide it back to to send contract to trigger yourself. And they're going to be like, what? We don't have a contract. Are we supposed to have a contract? I didn't say yes. And it can cause problems. So you want to make sure you have your automation figured out and you know what you're doing before you trigger automation on your stage slides. Okay. So let me jump back over here and let's talk about actually working these leads. Okay. So if you come in, you're looking at your pipeline and you're working the leads. The way we want to do it is, this is a new lead that I need to figure out who they are. So if I click on the white space here, it just opens up the card where I can see it. I can look at my notes, I can assign tasks, etc. If I click on the actual name, it will go to this full contact card where their information is on the left. Here in the middle, we can send them an email or a text message right here at the bottom. And then on the right, we have notes and tasks. So let me go to one here because this is a demo account. So I know some of these have, so this one here has a phone number and an email listed, right? So let's say I'm going to work this one. I need to follow up with Acon Janical. When I click on that, there's an email and a phone number listed over here on the left. So down on the bottom, it says SMS and email. I can click SMS and I can write them a text and hit send, and it'll go right to them. I can click email and I can write them an email right here, click send, and it'll send them an email. Or if I want to call them, I can go right to the top. I can click on this phone and it will actually call the phone number listed here on the left. So when I am following up with clients, leads, whatever, I'm going to do it this way, and I'm going to teach my team to do it this way. Click on the person's name like we just did. It's going to come to the full contact card. If you need to send them a text, send them a text. If we're going to call them, click the phone and call. It will ring right here. While the phone is ringing, so you can talk through your computer, I click on notes here on the left, and I'm going to click add new note. While I'm talking to them on the phone through my computer, just like this, I'm going to add notes. And then when I'm done with my call, I'm going to click end and I'm going to save. And now I've timestamped that Aaron Jennings added a note December 6th at 12:43, and these are the notes. Then let's say I'm talking to this person. They're like, hey, Aaron, I'm actually getting ready to go out of town. I'd love to talk to you more about it, but I'll be back next Wednesday, the 15th. Can you follow up with me then? Yeah, no problem. I'm going to put that in my notes. Ask me to follow up on the 13th. Save. Now I'm going to click on task right above it. And here I'm going to add a task. I'm going to say follow up. I'll put a note in here. They asked me to follow up when they get back to town on the 15th, assign it to myself, give it a due date of the 15th, and click save. And now it's going to save that task, and the task will show up right here on the left, but then the task will also show up on my dashboard. So when I log into Scalability to start working on my leads in my business, I can scroll down right here and it says tasks, and here it says follow up. They asked me to follow up when they get back on the 15th. So now to actually manage my customers and what I need to work on today, so I got 15 minutes in between things, I log into Scalability and I scroll down to my tasks and it says follow up. When I click on this task, it's going to go straight to their contact card and I can read the notes right here. Click on the follow up. It's going to say they asked me to follow up. I can simply give them a call, send them a text, send them an email, and then I simply check this off that I got it done. Click on the notes and I can read whatever notes we have. Any texts and emails and phone calls get logged right here in the middle. So there's a demo account, so I don't know if it'll send anything, but we'll try it. So it'll show up right here in the middle that there was a text sent, and this is what the text says, an email sent, and this is what it says. They responded with a text. It all shows up right here in the middle. So the beauty of this is that when we have a team managing all of your leads, or if you're a solopreneur and you hire a virtual assistant, you run your leads like this. You create a pipeline, you put your leads on the pipeline, you click on the lead, go to their contact profile, text, call, or email directly from their profile, update the notes, and set the task. And if you teach your virtual assistants or 15 team members to do the same thing, those 15 team members could quit and leave anytime, and you could jump into any person's contact and read the notes and see the text and the email correspondence and know exactly where you're at with every client in your business. Okay? And that's the beauty, that's the scalability behind a business, is you have to be able to plug people in, teach them how to do it like you do it. So you don't have to do it that way forever. You can build a team that does it. And then if that team bails or gets tired, bored, and quits and leaves, you can simply jump back in and take over, and you've got notes and all the interactions you've ever had with that person all in one place. Okay? That's how you run a business. Move from the solopreneur idea of me and my cell phone will just get this done. If you want to build a business that actually scales and doesn't just wear you out, you have to build it to where other people can be plugged in and run it for you, to where automation can be leveraged to run it for you. Simple things like how I mentioned here, when we send a contract, if I send a contract and I drag this over here to contract sent, I would typically now jump in, click on the name, come over here, write him an email, write him a text message that says, hey, I just sent you the contract we talked about. Hey, I just emailed you the contract we talked about. Now that didn't take long, right? For me to click that, go over there, click SMS, write him a text and send it. But if I build an automation one time, then all I have to do is drag them over and drop it, and it automatically sent the text. It automatically sent the email. It'll automatically wait one day, and it'll text them an email again saying, hey, just making sure you got that. If you build that automation once, now you don't have to manually write that text in that email, and you can set your automation to where it texts them, emails them, waits a day, texts them, emails them, waits a day, texts and email them, waits a day, and then triggers you to follow up with them manually on the fourth day. So you actually follow up with them every single day for 3 days in a row, but you manually, physically only have to follow up once in 4 days. So we use the automation in the software to streamline and save time. And when you do that over 20, 100, 1,000 leads, this is how you're able to save hours over a day with simple automations and a set process for running things. So this is a smooth and easy way to go from a then what exercise to a pipeline, and then working and managing your leads directly from your pipeline, and then move into building automation for each stage of the pipeline. And this is how you start building it up and building it through. Yes, there's API access. It's not just for real estate agents. It's anybody. This example on this video, I used real estate as an example, but the software is actually used by a bunch of different people. We have mortgage agencies, we got coaches, consultants, we've got speakers, course creators. We got a little bit of everybody in there right now. So it is not specifically for one audience. The idea is just simply how are we leveraging the technology and using the systems to make things easier. So that is it for our live for today. We are live every Wednesday. I'm live every Wednesday here on YouTube, where I'm live building and doing things like this. If you're not a Scalability subscriber, you can go to fastscalability.com. The link will be in the description somewhere. You can start a 14-day free trial and get started, and you can learn straight from our YouTube channel. And as an active subscriber, you're actually able to join these lives, where when I shut this off on YouTube, we'll do live Q&A on the back end and answer your questions and help get you moving so you can take this in your business and not have to just follow the overall YouTube videos. We want you to win. Our goal is to show you how to use this so that we're not just selling software, taking your money until you give up on it. We want to show up every week and make sure that it works for you and that you get it working so that you can make money in your business and you can scale what you have. Thank you for your time. Time is something that you can never get back. So I appreciate you giving me your time. I promise never to waste it. Have an awesome week, and we'll catch you guys next Wednesday.